Victorian Psycho, a chilling gothic thriller starring Maika Monroe and Jason Isaacs, has been acquired for distribution in the UK and Ireland by True Brit Entertainment, after its rights were picked up from Anton, according to industry sources. This acquisition positions the film for a robust European rollout following its market debut at Cannes. Directed by Zachary Wigan, Sanctuary, and based on the novel by Virginia Fido, the film explores psychological horror set against the backdrop of a remote 19th century estate. Maika Monroe replaces Margaret Qualley in the role of Winifred Noddy, the enigmatic governess whose arrival precipitates a cascade of terrifying disappearances among the manor staff. Joining Monroe on screen, Jason Isaacs portrays Mr. John Pounds, the estate's stern but perceptive master. His character starts noticing unsettling changes around Winifred and grows increasingly suspicious of her motives. Wigan praised Isaacs' nuanced talent, calling him ideal for capturing the complexity required to play the mansion's authoritative patriarch. Also credited in the cast is Thomasin McKenzie, Last Night in Soho, contributing additional layers to the story, presumably as a family member or close observer of the unfolding horror. The screenplay, adapted by Fido herself, promises to preserve the novel's tone of creeping dread and subtle dark wit. Production is set to begin in August, marking a swift move from page to set following casting announcements earlier this summer. Executive production support comes from Dan Kagan, who previously teamed with Monroe on Longlegs, along with Sebastian Rabaud, Nick Shoemaker, and Bard Doros, under the banners of Traffic, and anonymous content with Anton acting as financier and international sales agent. Plot-wise, Victorian Psycho is set in 1858 at the isolated Ensor House, where Winifred arrives ostensibly to educate the children in etiquette and family heritage. However, her refined facade gradually reveals a darker purpose as staff members begin to vanish mysteriously. This atmospheric premise taps into the unsettling tradition of the Gothic governess, weaving psychological tension with classic period spookiness. Isaacs' Mr. Pounds, described as enigmatic and mercurial, represents the landlord who senses something sinister beneath Winifred's cultivated exterior. His role escalates the tension, transforming the manor from a genteel setting into a stage for creeping horror. The film's literary roots, having the author adapt her own novel, suggest fidelity to the original story's psychological layers and character complexity. This creative continuity raises expectations for a thoughtful adaptation that honors source material while adding cinematic nuance. For the UK and Ireland release, True Brit Entertainment's acquisition signals confidence in the project, expecting the gothic thriller to resonate with audiences who favor period horror, such as fans of The Woman in Black and Crimson Peak. The company's deal paves the way for strategic marketing around those genre affinities. Aside from its UK-Ireland pickup, the film is seeking US and additional international partners, with Anton handling global distribution and sales. This suggests dual ambitions, achieving local genre prestige while tapping into late 19th century Gothic's broader mainstream appeal. The reported release timeline situates production start in August, with a probable festival premiere at later 2025 genre events such as London Fright Fest or Sitges Horror Festival, typical launchpads for Gothic fare, before a wider rollout in early 2026. In summary, Victorian Psycho stands out for strong casting. Maika Monroe leads as an unstable governess. Jason Isaacs, with his refined menace, rounds out the tension-filled dynamic. Literary pedigree. Virginia Fido adapting her own novel adds adaptation authenticity. Atmospheric genre setting, Gothic manor horror with creeping psychological dread. Strategic acquisition, UK-Ireland rights secured by True Brit Entertainment. Festival ambitions, poised to follow in the footsteps of modern Gothic hitmakers. As production begins this summer, all eyes and coattails are on whether Victorian Psycho will add a new twist to Gothic horror lore, and if UK and Ireland audiences will answer the call of its dark secrets.